Charles Krauthammer has a different point of view on that, which we'll get to. But on the Republican side, to your point, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says another shutdown is not an option. In an interview with the National Review, McConnell said, quote, "One of my favorite sayings is an old Kentucky saying, there's no education in the second kick of a mule. The first kick of the mule was in 1995. The second one was the last 16 days. A government shutdown is off the table. We're not going to do it." But despite walking away from the shutdown with little to show for it, Senator Ted Cruz, and this I don't get, if anyone can explain this to me, take a listen and tell me, remains defiant in his effort to dismantle Obamacare.
I would do anything, and I will continue to do anything I can to stop the train wreck that is Obamacare. And I think our focus should not be on D.C. politics. It should be on the people who are getting hurt.
This was seen as the Ted Cruz shutdown. You, more than any single individual, were seen as the one that triggered this crisis.
I said throughout this, we shouldn't have a shutdown. I don't want a shutdown. I repeatedly voted to open the government.
There never would have been a shutdown if you hadn't gone with this strategy of saying we're not even going to fund the government for 6 weeks
and you know
unless we can defund Obamacare.
You know what, John? There never would have been a shutdown if Harry Reid and President Obama hadn't said we will not compromise, we will not negotiate, shut the government down.
See, I don't... Does somebody at some point tell him to stop, Caddy? I mean, what you know, I mean, no, I just... no. I respect his opinion about, you know, Obamacare. That's an argument you can have. But
I wonder whether he goes back now to his voters and they tell him and his constituents, and they effectively, as all the other Tea Party members, will go back this weekend and they will be told, you're doing a great job. We like the way you stood up to the president.
Is that what's happening?
And it is the point of standing up rather than the outcome and rather than the principle that it was fought over, and that's what will boost their poll numbers, and that's what makes me worried about whether this is going to continue.
He's been told that already. He's gotten incredible donations. He's gotten great response from the base. His office is touting how many people call in to say thank you for doing what you do. And it's all in this amazing, expanding bubble. He doesn't understand the damage he's done to his colleagues or the futility of what he's doing when he tries to shut down the government over health care. I mean, it's
Sam, I don't think he's not intelligent.
No, he's very intelligent. I think he's doing this for a very self-serving purpose.
But you've also understand, I mean, some of the groups like Heritage Action, who were staunch allies of Cruz in this effort to defund and shut down, I think have learned a lesson from this crisis. Their president came out the other day and said, look, we realize now we're not going to be able to repeal Obamacare until 2016.
But that means they're not repealing it at all, because at that point, you have so many people who are getting injured. Even with the horrific rollout of Obamacare exchanges, how do you go about and turn around and say, actually, you know, 10,000 or so people who've signed up this week, tens of thousands, how do you say, no, you're not going to get insurance anymore, we're taking it away from you?
Joe, jump in.
Yeah. Hey, Robert Gibbs, Sam Stein just made Ted Cruz's point. Because my argument's always been, well, what you're doing now is really hurting for 2014 and 2016. Ted Cruz would say, and Mike Lee would say, okay, well, great. Well, so what are we going to do? Win 60? Even in the best of years, we may just get a majority. We're not going to be able to stop Obamacare then. So then you tell us, well, let's wait till 2016. As Sam Stein just said, even if Republicans win everything in 2016, it is too late. So this argument to Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and others, hey, just sit back, let's win this one in 2016 when we win everything, has just been undermined by right-wing nut Sam Stein. And he's exactly right. By 2016, it's just too late.
Well, look, I do think that Caddy is right, and that is that Ted Cruz, wherever he goes this weekend, will have be covered by adulation for what his, as somebody mentioned, his very self-serving actions. Ted Cruz is not about how to move the Republican Party down the field. Ted Cruz is doing a fabulous job at moving Ted Cruz down the field because he wants to be that nominee in 2016 to do whatever it is he wants to do in terms of governing. This isn't about the Republican Party or Mitch McConnell or the caucus. It's about Ted Cruz, and it's working well for Ted Cruz in Ted Cruz's base.
Yeah, and that's the big question, isn't it, Mika? What comes out of this and what happens to the Tea Party?